It's been a week and a lot rolled out. I swear to you, I think like Amazon KDP must wait for me to do my news segment to tell me about these things, because late on Monday night, I got a notification from the KDP team that they had rolled out a new feature. It's going to be an identification verification, ID verification for some account holders. This is going to be bad. Should we be worried about it? Is our data going to be safe with them? Also, Amazon Ads in Canada is rolling out new fees. Is this going to affect you? Is it going to be something huge, or is it just nothing to worry about? And Drafted Digital just announced a change in a partner's name that they have through distribution. Who is it and how does it affect you? Well, we're going to be talking about all of that and more in the self-publishing news for August the 5th of 2024. Let's go ahead and jump right into things here, starting out here with our sponsors, Book Award Pro. Folks, I've been gushing about them for a few years by now. You get reviews and awards for your book through this excellent service. I personally have used Book Award Pro for the past few years. I've accumulated over 32 book awards for 6 different books across multiple genres. And the reason why I like using Book Award Pro is it makes life easier. You could probably go and try to track down all of these different book awards and reviews and such like that, but it requires hours of time and you have to sift through it. Do you trust them? Can you not trust them? They go through, they verify, they validate everything that they would suggest to you, so that way you know that you're in good hands and you're not just throwing money down the drain. It is an excellent book marketing tool, and I will not go without using Book Award Pro for the rest of my days as an author. That is over at dalelinks.com/Book Award Pro. Again, that's dalelinks.com/Book Award Pro. All right, time for the first piece of news. Update to your advertising fees starting August the 15th of 2024. Regulatory advertising fees added for ads served in Canada beginning August the 15th. Which countries do the regulatory advertising fees apply to? Starting August 15th, regulatory advertising fees will apply to ads served in Canada. These fees already apply to ads served in France, Italy, Spain, United Kingdom, Austria, and Turkey. Amazon also applies these fees to advertisers based in some countries such as Turkey and the United Kingdom when they purchase certain ad types, regardless of where those ads serve. Application of these fees follows the introduction of digital service taxes and or other regulations in those jurisdictions. Which countries do the regulatory advertising fees apply to? You can view your regulatory advertising fees on your invoice PDFs. You can also go to the billing and view your invoice online. As per usual, I've dropped a link inside the show notes if you need to kind of go over and figure out what those advertising fees are. So some of them, it's just going to vary. So, you can look at the example and it will kind of tell you based on the percentage. For example, if you're a US-based advertiser who purchased an ad, your ad receives a click with a value of $1 from a customer located in a country with a DST rate of 3%, you would see a regulatory advertising fee of 3 cents for that click. Okay, fair enough. All right, this is a very interesting one, and I was just talking with my wife about this before I went live. You guys remember Colin Kaepernick, a football player? He was embroiled in some controversy a little while ago, but still a bit of a legend in the NFL. And apparently, Colin Kaepernick is going to be launching a new self-publishing platform called Lumi.ai. Actually, it's lumistory.ai. It's free, the creator. Bring your stories to life with Lumi. I actually discovered this through the hot sheet by Jane Friedman. And from what Jane said, she said Colin Kaepernick, who founded his own publishing company in 2020, has now launched Lumi. Lumi is a self-publishing platform that will focus on comic books and graphic novels to start. Kaepernick has already raised $4 million in venture capital. Lumi currently has a wait list, and it's not possible to get an immediate look. I've already peeked in, ventured around. I've just put myself on the wait list, and I haven't seen anything yet. Like so many publishing startups have claimed before, often with limited knowledge of the author community and the flourishing self-publishing environment, Lumi, Kaepernick says, will democratize storytelling by providing tools to create, publish, and merchandise. There's a difference so far with Lumi. It's a celebrity name attached, as well as Kaepernick's focus on Lumi as an extension of his activism. So this is pretty interesting. I see that it's only offering comics and graphic novels. So if you happen to be in that niche, fantastic. It's great. I don't know anything about royalties. I don't know anything about distribution. I don't know anything about rights. So everything's kind of hazy. So I'd recommend is if this kind of piques your interest, you can always just enter your email and just see what comes of it. I'm curious about it. You know, obviously there's a lot of these celebrities that will pop into our community, and I know there's a lot of people that are going to be reluctant because you look at some of these big influencers and celebrities and such you got behind a lot of crypto, and did a rug pull a lot of people. With something like this, I guess my main concerns would be is this going to be a rights grab? What type of royalties are we going to expect? What's the distribution going to be like? What's the readership going to be like? There's so many questions I have. So for right now, it's a very hot piece of news, but I don't think there's anything that we can probably get too excited about just yet. But with the deep pockets of an NFL person like Colin Kaepernick, chances are very likely we might see something that could be a viable alternative to the many alternatives out there to KDP. For right now, it just seems it's comics and the graphic novels. All right, the other piece of news that I actually learned about through the hot sheet is, of course, going to include Spotify CEO expects profit growth to continue amid investments in audiobooks. So here's the TLDR for you. The CEO, Daniel Ek of Spotify, he's been the person that has been very in the forefront of growing audiobooks through Spotify. And he's really happy about the company's profit margin growth. So this means that they're seeing a fantastic growth. There's more subscribers. This audiobook transition is great. But what does that mean for authors? It means absolutely jack squat at this point, because unless we actually see a cut of that money, all he's sharing and flexing on is for his stockholders. And that's good, but what do we get as authors? And I think when they can kind of answer that, that's fantastic. I was very bullish initially when Spotify had acquired Findaway Voices. I thought, you know what, let me give them the benefit of the doubt. But they really kind of, for lack of better words and a PG family friendly of putting it, you know, they kind of pooped the bed earlier this year when they decided they were going to go ahead and change the terms and conditions via Findaway Voices. And this has created some reluctance on my behalf. Not to mention that if you want to get Spotify distribution, sure, you get 50%. That's way better than what you're getting through Audiobook Creation Exchange. But there is no separation between getting a la carte sales and subscription sales. It's like all or nothing. So if you want Spotify distribution, you have to take the cents on the dollar approach of them doing the subscription model and the a la carte model where they're buying your audiobook outright. So this news is great. It's cool to see Spotify growing, and this means that there is going to be some listenership that we can be able to tap into. But what does that mean in dollar and cents? I would love to hear what Daniel Ek has to say something like this. And if for some reason someone has contact with that CEO of Spotify, please, I would love to actually have an interview and a great conversation with you about how Spotify has grown and what this can be what this means for audiobooks and the authors in self-publishing. So, all right, the hottest piece of news that actually rolled out and actually went live here on the main channel as well as in the podcast channel about the identity verification for KDP. Let me go ahead and give you the brief synopsis here. KDP is committed to providing legitimate authors and publishers with a trustworthy, enjoyable experience. In order to further protect that experience, we're introducing identity verification for KDP. Beginning today, KDP authors and publishers may be prompted to submit a photo of their government-issued identification, which will match against their current account information. We take privacy seriously, and we handle person information in accordance with Amazon's privacy notice and delete all identity documents after the ID verification process is complete. Once the match is confirmed, authors and publishers will be able to proceed with using their KDP account. And, you know, for the most part, I think a lot of people were real excited. This is just kind of a way that they're trying to remove some of the bad actors and the people that are doing fraud and some of the scammers that are kind of coming into their platform. So that's really nice. And I think to a certain extent, they're also trying to find a way that they can identify people that are opening up multiple accounts, which is against terms and conditions. You can only have one account per one person. There is no loophole, folks. If anybody tells you there's a loophole, there is not. I've actually discussed this directly with the KDP team, verbally with them, that they said there is no loophole. It's one account, one person. So if you have 2, 3, or even more accounts, you might want to kind of walk that back. You might want to delete some of those things, because if that ID verification comes inside your dashboard by way of think they have a banner as well as they send you an email notification, you're in really hot water. You're going to run into some problems. They're going to shut those accounts down really, really quick. Now, the biggest question and the biggest concern I saw from a minority of the viewers this past week was, can we trust KDP? Well, if you're in a position that you say, I don't trust them to give them my government issued ID, even though they're saying they're going to delete those things, if you're in a position that you don't trust KDP to that extent, you may want to consider Amazon alternatives. And I think there were some people that just felt like I was just trying to lick the boots of KDP. Like they're like, oh, you're just like an affiliate for Amazon. Like, no, that's not the case. But I'm just speaking to you in a very real capacity here. If they weren't deleting and purging that stuff after they've collected it, they are asking for a major class action lawsuit if they were ever caught in doing that. So that's the one thing. And I know KDP doesn't want to be fooling around with the big class action lawsuit, much less Amazon, actually. They don't want to bother with that type of stuff. So when they say they're going according to the privacy policy and they're deleting all your stuff, then you should rest well knowing that they're going to stick by their word. Now, if you're still in a position you're like, I don't trust them, then what are you doing on their platform? You shouldn't be going to their platform, because if you can't trust that they're going to be able to store your ID and verification information or get rid of it as they should, then how can you trust that they're giving you all the sales that you should be getting? How can you trust that they're going to be distributing your book like they should be doing? Those are some questions. And I think a lot of people kind of just spoke out of just being very passionate and being very concerned about, having their identity stolen and distributed for data mining. And that's okay. I totally get it if you feel that way. But if you're feeling that way, then should you be on that platform for Amazon KDP? Again, I'm not here just trying to, lick the boots of KDP. That's just not the case. But my thought is, if you can't trust them that much, then shouldn't you be looking elsewhere? There's tons of alternatives. And I mean this in the best way possible. I mean, you've got Drafted Digital, you got Ingram Spark, you got Lulu, you got Publish Drive, you've got all these other places that don't require ID verification. Right now at least. So, and there's also direct sales. Direct sales, there's no ID verification necessary whatsoever. You can go ahead and start doing that. So I'm just being the devil's advocate at this point. If you don't trust Amazon KDP with your ID, then should you even be on the platform? And even then, don't worry about it, because they actually even said they're only going to be addressing this with some account holders. But it seems like they're indicating that it's going to eventually roll out to all account holders. Seems. Again, that's just my opinion. It's not fact. So if you want more information, link inside the show notes as per usual. Moving a little further forward, the fine folks over at Drafted Digital let us know this past week, we're writing to inform you that we are changing the library platform name Biblioteca to Cloud Library. You may notice this change the next time you visit your My Books or Publish page, and we don't want this to lead to any confusion. Why the change? Earlier this year, the nonprofit global library organization OCLC acquired the assets of the digital solutions group of Biblioteca. This division of Biblioteca includes Cloud Library, the digital content provider that serves nearly 500 libraries in 20 countries, providing access to millions of ebooks and audiobooks. Going forward, OCLC will refer to this division as Cloud Library. So if you've already been using Cloud Library or Biblioteca by way of Drafted Digital or Smashwords, you have nothing that you need to do. They just want to let you know that you're going to see that change, so that way you're not being thrown off at all. So there's nothing you need to do if you're already distributing through them. And this is one of the reasons why I love Drafted Digital so much, is because they have library distribution. It's super important to me that my books get into libraries, because that's a place that I spend a lot of time in. Heck, I've actually just checked out a couple of great books in this past weekend through the Overdrive app through Libby. That's fantastic. I love it. If I didn't have that, I would probably lean on something like Cloud Library to get my stuff. So all that to say this, that it's just a name change, nothing to sweat here. Here's another big piece of news that actually rolled into my inbox here. Leonardo.ai, this is an image generation service that is available for free and premium as well, is now going to be working in tandem with Canva. Now, is there going to be any type of upcharge or upsell? No, it seems like if you're already paying for Canva and you're paying for Leonardo, or you're getting either one of them free, this integration is going to work just fine. I've played around with Leonardo.ai. Big shout out to SD Houston, my buddy Shannon. She actually turned me on to Leonardo.ai, and I've played around with it quite a few times. I think I even seen famous YouTuber Ray William Johnson do a tutorial recently on it, and it was very mind-blowing. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could do something like this. But it's really kind of cool to see that there is this integration. So if you're already doing some type of graphic design by way of Canva, it's good to know that you now can have artificial intelligence create and generate some images that you can put in with your marketing collateral. So super exciting. Hey, looking for ways to get some more reviews? The fine folks over at Publish Drive want to give you a full article. Actually, this past month, they had shared some of the greatest tips. Are book reviews on Amazon necessary? Yes, that's a TLDR. But what they're going to recommend to you is going to include try for editorial reviews, which you can post through Amazon Author Central. Use paid platforms such as Midwest Book Review, City Book Review, US Review of Books, Self-Publishing Review, Independent Review of Books, Reads eDiscovery. I've used them. They're fantastic. Book Roar, Book Sirens, and Library Thing Earlier Reviews. So, by the way, that one's free. You can ask your network. You can reach out to top reviewers, bloggers, and influencers, and include your ask at every opportunity. You want a full piece on that? Go ahead, visit the link in the show notes as per usual. All right, rapid fire, because I got a few things that are coming up here. Pay close attention because I'm involved in some of these ones, especially when it comes to tomorrow. Okay, so if you're listening to this on Tuesday, August the 6th, at 1 p.m. Eastern Daytime, I'm actually going to be on a live webinar. There's no catches, there's no upsells, nothing to worry about and such like that. I'll be working with Story Origin. This is Tuesday, August the 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern Daytime. Join us for an eye-opening webinar with self-publishing master, I've never heard myself refer to that, Dale Roberts, as he delves into the insights from his latest book, Self-Publishing for New Authors and Advanced Self-Publishing for Authors. In this Q&A session, Dale will cover editors, cover designers, and formatters, Kindle Unlimited versus wide publishing, book launch strategies, get more reviews, and marketing on a budget, so much and so forth. Come on over, join me. It's going to be a lot of fun. I already heard that there has already been over 100 people that have RSVP'd. Let's make this 200. Come on over, join me, share this across everywhere that you can. This is for novices to pros alike, and you're going to get a lot more insights into what I've been doing for working on my latest series. And you can also join another free webinar from the fine folks over at BookBaby. And on Wednesday, August the 14th, it's Writing Time, an inspired path forward without the push and pull. This is with Jana Lopez, an author and writing coach. In this webinar, you'll understand myths, misconceptions, habits, and desires relating to writing time. Explore the tug-of-war over time spent on creativity versus productivity. Identify time traps and so much. That's Wednesday, August 14th at 3 p.m. Eastern Daytime. It's a 1-hour presentation. There's also going to be a recent interview. This one was a lot of fun. It was on the Business, Finance, and Comedy Show. It was probably the most unique interview I've ever done before. I can't reveal too much because the presenter wants to remain anonymous, but you will see that it was almost like I was being interviewed by artificial intelligence. I promise you, there was another person on the other side of things, but they couldn't verbally express themselves. So that's why there is the artificial intelligence. So if you want to check it out, it actually is kind of had me cracking up a little bit. But you're going to actually hear everything from my beginning in self-publishing to some of my thoughts about artificial intelligence and so much more. But go ahead, take a look at that interview. And then last but not least, go ahead and wrap things up here with the fine folks over at Book Award Pro. If you have not taken a look at why I love Book Award Pro so much, go on over to my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/bookawardpro. It's how to get accolades for your book the modern way, so that way you're not banging your head against the wall trying to find everything that you need to. What do you think about some of those pieces of news? Did you get my latest book, The Self-Publishing for New Authors? It's available over at dalelinks.com/new authors. Pick up your copy, because in the week after next, book 2 is going to be rolling out, and every month thereafter, you're going to be seeing a new publication going all the way into the new year. So you can look forward to that. And if you'd like to join the Advanced Reader Copy Team, dalelinks.com/ARC team. And that's ARC. That's Advanced Reader Copy Team. So dalelinks.com/ARC team. What did you think about some of these pieces of news? Let me know over inside the Discord community. That's over at dalelinks.com/Discord. Till later, and before I start mentioning any other links, I will catch you folks in next week's news. Take care now.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.